All right, and it looks like it's just us for today. So, ya está compartiendo. Ya está. All right. So today we're going to practice the integrated type of writing, right? That you've seen in your class. What can you tell me about this type of writing? What does it consist of? How long do you have?
I yesterday I entered the meeting super late, so I don't know if you could explain again because
Okay.
when I enter, everybody was doing the writing, so I don't know.
Okay, so we're going to do a quick review. So in this type of task, we're going to have source material, okay? We're going to also we're going to read both a conversation and listen to a lecture. Okay, so it's more or less a maybe 4 or 5 paragraph text. So you have 3 minutes to read that. And then you have to listen to a lecture, which is also maybe about 4 or 5 minutes long. Okay, and you have 20 minutes to write your answer. Usually the way that the two materials work is that the lecture gives you an idea, it introduces an idea. So it gives you an introduction, an argument, and tres argumentos creo que son, 3 arguments. And usually the lecture is going to give a different opinion, o va a contradecir, digamos, a lo que está en el texto. So what they're going to ask is a summary of both things, a summary of todo lo presentado en el texto y todo lo presentado en el audio. Y que contraste, ¿no? Este dice lo contrario a este, eso más o menos. So, a ver, les voy a compartir.
Teacher, yesterday just do the independent practice.
Oh, you just did the...
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit we're seeing that how to manage these classes because with some groups they're doing writing 1, with some groups they're doing writing 2. So this week though we're gonna do just writing 2. Para ver eso. We're gonna do just one of them porque como les digo, it's a little long. Hasta escuchar, hasta leer. Y bueno, ahorita les explico mejor. Eso que cambies. Okay, so this is the instruction they're going to give you. For this task, you will read a passage and then listen to a lecture on the same topic. You may take notes while you read and listen. Then you will write a response to a question that asks you about the relationship between the reading and the lecture. The question does not ask you to express your personal opinion. You may refer to the reading passage again when you write, but you will only be allowed to hear the lecture one time. You may use your notes to help you answer the question. Typically, an effective response will be 150 to 225 words. You should allow 3 minutes to read the passage. After 3 minutes, listen to the lecture. Finally, allow 20 minutes to plan and write your essay. Okay, so what we're going to do in this class es como el anterior, ¿no? Del writing 1. Solo vamos a usar 15 minutos, no los 20 minutos completos. Pero no se preocupen de acabar, don't worry about, si quieren pueden dejarlo a medio párrafo, media oración incluso. La cosa es que esté bien estructurado hasta donde esté. La conclusión igual we can see later. But for now, try to make it as best as you can hasta donde pueda, hasta eso. Eso, en general, igual como siempre, tomar apuntes. During the reading, not so much. Not so much during the reading, more during the lecture. It's important to take. notes. Y lo mismo para eso, ¿no? Escuchar entonaciones, escuchar cuando introducen ideas. Ahí va a estar más claro, van a poder escuchar cuando se contradicen, o bueno, cuando contradice o argumenta against the points of the lecture. It's going to be pretty clear in against the points of the reading, perdón. Es bastante claro en el lecture hablado. So vamos a empezar con con la lectura. Les voy a poner el timer en mi celular. There we go. Ok, vamos a bajar. Me van a decir cuando quieran que vaya scrolling down so you can read the rest of the text, okay? Because it's kind of long. So we're going to have the topic for this is going to be about history, Rome. So nos vamos a tomar 3 minutos para leer eso. Starting now. Igual me dicen cuando quieren que baje. Okay, did everyone finish reading? Yes. All right. Is there any question, any part that wasn't clear? Algo que sientan que les pueda faltar para poder responder las preguntas? Okay. Now we're going to listen to the lecture. And for this one, it's best to take notes. So tengan su papelito, algo para anotar, and get ready to listen to the lecture. Okay, ready?
Now listen to part of a lecture on the topic you just read about.
The Emperor Claudius is a fascinating figure. He was traditionally portrayed as a vicious fool in ancient history books. But some sources, like the novel I, Claudius, which is a great book by the way, some sources portray him as one of the strongest Roman emperors. I want to interrogate that idea today. He certainly did a lot of good for the empire, but perhaps the traditional account of Claudius's reign, emphasizing the weakness of the emperor as a leader, is closer to the historical truth than the popular new revisionist account. Was he really as innovative, fair, and wise as the textbook suggests? Claudius definitely did some good things in his reign, like build new aqueducts and a port for Rome. But the biggest innovation of his reign, his coming to power by paying off the army after the assassination of the previous emperor, well, that would prove to be a dangerous precedent for the Roman Empire. It was a terrible precedent, in fact, and later, people doing the same things as Claudius would plunge Rome into civil war. As for Claudius's fairness, he might have created laws supporting the rights of slaves and expanding Roman citizenship. But he was a notoriously bad judge who was accused of making legal decisions without even listening to both sides of the case. He loved violent gladiatorial games and had thousands of men executed simply for the amusement of the Roman people. He even conquered Britain to win prestige, destroying its indigenous peoples. So I wouldn't exactly call this very fair behavior. The text also mentions his wisdom, but, well, it's true that Claudius favored people like slaves and former slaves, but they were notorious for being corrupt. Many of them amassed giant personal fortunes at the expense of the Roman people and were subject to bribery. His wives were also famous for being murderous and disloyal. In fact, his last wife poisoned him with a mushroom, and her son would go on to become the Emperor Nero, who was one of the worst rulers of world history. Claudius deserves at least some blame for the disasters of his reign, since someone as irresponsible as Nero should have never been made his heir. I mean, it wasn't very wise to choose him for a successor, was it?
Summarize the points made in the lecture you just heard, explaining how they cast doubt on points made in the reading passage.
Okay, that's the question. ¿Alguna pregunta sobre la pregunta sobre about the lecture? Anything that wasn't clear? Okay, in case you want the question again, it's here, aquí está en pantalla. Summarize the points made in the lecture you just heard, explaining how they cast doubt on points made in the reading. So aquí está la parte importante, how they cast doubt, cómo crean duda sobre el reading, cómo se contrasta uno con el otro. Okay, so en los siguientes 15 minutos van a escribir su writing. Igual aquí al lado tienen el texto, si en algún momento quieren que, los voy a pasar mejor. Les voy a poner en un Google Docs para que puedan revisarlo en cualquier momento. Okay, I'm gonna send you guys a link del reading por el chat. Aquí está. So pueden igual ver eso en cualquier momento. Y bueno, aquí está también en pantalla. Sus 15 minutos comienzan ahora. ¿Ready? Okay. remember, it's not the full time, it's not the full 20 minutes, so no se preocupen por acabarlo, sino que esté completito hasta donde esté. Luego me lo van a mandar por el chat de la llamada, así que es igual. By the way, guys, we're more or less at half the time, 7 minutos. So eso para que lo tomen en cuenta. We have more or less 2 minutes left, guys, by the way. Okay, guys, so time's up. Hasta donde lo tengan, just copy paste it into the chat. Si es muy largo para un mensaje, entonces igual por partecitas, igual los voy a buscar y los voy a juntar. So eso, por favor, vayan mandando al chat y los vamos a ver aquí. ¿Ya?
Sorry, Miss, I couldn't hear really well the history because my
Mhm.
internet was really slow. So I couldn't write a lot, but I write, I think, more than 50%. I don't
Alright.
know.
Yeah,
But,
don't worry.
yeah.
Con eso en mente, whatever you have, we're going to see it.
Okay, thank you, Miss.
Don't worry, mande nomás. All right, so this one is from Carolina. Vamos a verlo acá abajo directamente. Okay, esto es. Yes, esto es el de Carolina. All right, let's make this a little bit bigger so we can read it better. And we're gonna read through it y vamos a ir haciendo correcciones mientras leemos. Okay, so the expert from the reading begins with the story of the famous emperor Claudius of Rome, who managed to expand his empire on more than 3 continents during AD 41 and 54. However, in the conference, it says that he was a radical person, so he was not loved by the people. Okay, excellent introduction. Plantea muy bien the general idea of both sides. In the first place, in the reading passage, all his work and labor is vindicated as his leader. All right. In the first place, okay, the connector, good, igual, es un buen conector, is vindicated as his leader. What did you want to say here en esta parte?
I just want to say that, could I say in Spanish?
Yeah, sure.
Quería decir que gracias a él se había logrado expandir su territorio y que tal vez su trabajo no era muy reconocido por su carácter.
All right. All his work and labor is vindicated as a leader. Entonces, tal vez mejor como un líder, ¿no? Everything works for him to be recognized as a leader. Since it was thanks to him that his empire was able to extend so much. Like, perfecto. However, the presentation shows that he was a proud man with a difficult character. Perfect. Igual, first argument, you present it and you present the counter argument. Second, in the excerpt from the reading, it is noted here, this idea is incomplete. What is noted? ¿Qué se nota? The reading passage affirms, however. Aquí siento que falta un poco de información. ¿Qué es lo que what's noted?
Yes, Miss. I just copied the guide, the guide,
Okay.
didn't finish to write. Yes.
All right. The reading passage affirms, however. All right. Pero bueno, hasta acá, como primer punto, como introduction and first paragraph, perfect. I think the extension of each one is really good. The ideas are presented clearly. Más o menos igual la longitud de cada uno. So yeah, I think it's great. Y con más tiempo y habiendo escuchado mejor, I'm sure you could have finished the 3 arguments perfectly fine. So wonderful work.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay, next, let's see. Chat. Next is Rosas. Let's see. Y no hay una segunda parte, ¿no, Rosa? It's just one. Todo entrado en un mensaje.
Yeah, it's just that.
Ok. Igual lo vamos a hacer un poco más grande. And here. Okay. The reading extract leads off with the idea that Claudius, the emperor, here, un poco el nombre del emperador, Claudius, the emperor of Rome, maybe, of Rome, is this in past because we're reporting something from the past, did a lot of good things in the Roman Empire. Nonetheless, in the lecture, it is said that this emperor, Emperor Claudius wasn't the person who was described in the reading due to the fact that he was a corrupt and dangerous person. Igual, good introduction. You introduce the first idea and the counter argument. All right, next. Firstly, in the reading passage, it is claimed that he was a innovation person. We have to see when a word tiene que estar en forma de adjetivo, tiene que estar en forma de sustantivo. Innovative, aquí sería an innovative, describes a person. Innovation sería el sustantivo, ¿no? Innovación. Here, igual, when we talk, sometimes, no, cuando contamos algo, estamos like super excited and telling very fast and talking very fast. We tend to not make pauses, and that makes it sound like one big chorizo de oración. Y ahí se pierden un poco las ideas. Entonces es más fácil si intentan separar un poco más esas ideitas. Como cláusulas, ¿no? Cuando tenemos una coma, estamos separando dos ideas en una oración, ¿verdad? So like, due to Claudius having this type of character, coma, he could be claimed as a... Da, 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 da. So we have two ideas, y mientras más comas, más ideas separemos, ¿no? Entre más ideas hay en una sola oración, it gets a little more complicated. So it's best to limit that number as small as you can, ¿no? Entre menos ideas entre menos comas por oración, I think it's a lot clearer. So aquí, ¿no? Solo una sola coma y tu idea. And this can start off as a new, stronger sentence. Igual cuando tienen conectores así fuertes, es mejor que empiecen una oración. Accordingly, or according to the reading, podría ser también. According to the reading, he built a new harbor for Rome and did a lot of new aqueducts to give clean water to the city. Aquí igual, ¿no? Un puntito, porque esto es un conector fuerte y puede puede empezar bien la oración. On the other hand, he created laws to protect slaves. Nevertheless, in the presentation, it is noted that he put Rome, la ciudad, ¿no? Sería Rome in a dangerous place, giving slaves freedom. Same here. The comas, esta es la clave del éxito, cuando tengan un conector así fuerte, like this one, es mejor que empiecen la oración. He was accused, the phrase would be of taking or of making. No, accused of, y esto con ing. Illegal decisions, just doing the things that he wants. Igual, punto. Mejor separada esta idea. Consequently, he didn't, sería pasado igual porque didn't listen to others' opinions as senators. Others, cuando es así, no tiene, así tiene apóstrofe. Didn't listen to others. La apóstrofe, como es en plural, va después de la S. Others' opinions as senators. Same thing, ¿no? Acá las ideas están bien estructuradas. You name the first part that he was a benefit to the city, and the second part that he was not maybe the best. Although I feel this second part is a little bit too extended. Siento que podría ser un poco más cortita esta parte para que tengas más tiempo de escribir y desarrollar más los siguientes puntos. So esto porque está muy completo, but I feel it can be a little more concise para ahorrar tiempo. Secondly, in the reading, it is pointed out that Claudius worked efficiently for creating a framework. Y bueno, ahí queda. Hasta ahí, though, the structure, good use of structure, a little bit, un poco esos detalles de the grammar, but otherwise, buena respuesta.
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
Do you have any questions?
No, I didn't have the time to review the grammar and the mistakes that I did.
Yeah, sí, eso igual.
Ah.
At the time of writing the real test, mejor si lo escriben primero, and the last 5 minutes, ahí recién como que van y le dan una ojeada a todo, just to check. No, pero sí,
Okay.
igual, como les digo, esos, como hemos tenido menos tiempito, esas cositas a veces se van. All right, next one. And then we have Andrea. Yes, vamos a ver. Poco. All right.
Teacher, I just realized that he wasn't king, that he was emperor. So
Okay, yeah, don't worry. Igual, en sus 5 minutos de revisión, esas cositas pueden ir arreglando. Pero sí. A ver. So let's see. Mainly, it talks about Emperor Claudius, who spanned continents. In the reading, it is mentioned that Claudius suffered from physical disabilities, and for this reason, many ancient authors were against him. Unlike the conversation, all right, hasta acá. I feel this idea could be a little more complete. What do you mean by he spanned continents?
I want to say that expand continents like in 3 continents, but I don't know specific.
Yeah, hasta acá, the verb, everything is fine. Siento que falta, pero a little bit more. A ver, mainly it talks about Emperor Claudius, who spanned, we could say 3 continents, with his empire, ¿no? Or in his empire. Entonces ahí está más claro de qué hacen esos 3 continentes, que son su imperio. In the reading, it is mentioned that Claudius suffered from physical disabilities, and for this reason, many ancient authors were against him. Here, I think igual sería bueno separate it a different idea, porque ya estamos empezando a contrastar. Unlike the conversation, which mentions, that he expanded Rome with illegal decisions. Okay, igual, perfecto, hasta ahí bien introducido. I think here ya sería como que un pequeño párrafo de introducción. Ahí está claro las ideas principales. And then you can go ahead and see each one of the arguments.
So yeah, I write only 1 paragraph, so maybe separate my ideas, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and the real thing, it's better to separate them too. Y así igual les ayuda a medir más o menos la cantidad, because 225 words is more or less 3 paragraphs o 4 párrafos cortitos. Entonces, si lo separan por párrafos y lo ven así, es como que, ya es así. In the reading, it is mentioned that he supervised the construction of aqueducts, created laws to protect the law of slaves and the Roman citizenship to new people. I think igual, como que idea contrastante la siguiente, here we can separate them a little bit more. Aquí otro conector para que it flows a little better. This is a sharp contrast to the conversation. The writers were of the senatorial class, and the king was not elected by the power of the Senate. And the posts were not given to senators, but also to trusted former slaves, unlike the conversation. Those are the main.
Yeah, right.
Sí, el autocorrect.
Right.
Los teclados. Yeah, those are the most comparative differences between the reading and talking. Maybe the better word would be lecture or the class about Emperor Claudius and his rule over the years. Okay, Lo mismo, la introducción, clara, igual los dos argumentos, perfect. You closed it off, lo cerraste, lo concluiste con esta oración, which I think could have gone good at the end, con unos cuantos puntos más desarrollados ahí. Igual, perfect answer. Todo bien explicado. And I like how you all mentioned different things as well. Different aspectos o sea, diferentes argumentos y contraargumentos. You all chose a different one to start with, but they're all there. They're all in the text, so they all work perfectly. Y eso. So we're gonna leave it there, guys. These are long, so solo se puede hacer uno por clase. I don't know if you guys have any questions about this type of test, this type of question, diré, or anything about the class in general, a comment.
No, Miss.
All right. So, espera que les saco foto a la asistencia. All right, and I'm gonna send you guys the poll for you to fill in. And well, you can fill in the poll and you can go ahead and leave the class. So thank you guys for being here today. It was nice to see you, and I hope you have un buen resto de semana. See you guys Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss. Goodbye.
See you. Have a good evening. Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Bye, guys. Bye, Andrea.
Bye.